Yes, people, what is going on? Welcome to my F1 channel. Welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter in pole position. We are here to discuss and preview the 2024 Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Yes, indeed. Make sure you do smash a like on the video if you like Formula One content like this and get your comments in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys are predicting ahead of the Grand Prix this weekend. Formula One is back yet again after we've just been in Monza, a day for McLaren fans probably to forget where we threw away a Formula One race and let Ferrari win on their home perch. Well, it's a brand new week. It's a brand new race weekend. And so it's time to discuss all things Baku, all things Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And I want to get your predictions, okay? A bit of history regarding Baku, okay? The last couple of winners, over the last 3 seasons, Sergio Perez was your winner last year, okay? Charles Leclerc was on pole last season. And in fact, Charles Leclerc has been on pole the last 3 years in a row. So let's wait and see what this may mean for this weekend's predictions. But yes, Sergio Perez won last season. The year before that in 2022 was Max Verstappen. And 2021 was the other time that Mr. Sergio Perez won as well. Not many have won more than once in Baku. So we have to wait and see what may or may not happen at this circuit. But yes, as I said, look, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Danny Ricciardo, and Perez are the only current drivers to have won. And I think this is the 6th or 7th time we come to Baku. And don't forget, this used to be the European Grand Prix way back when. 2016, I think it was. 2017 is when it changed to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Comment down below if you know why the name changed and why we don't have a European Grand Prix anymore. I'd love to know your thoughts. Only two of the races have been won from pole position. So this is key to know. Remember, I said Charles was on pole the last 3 years, but it was Perez, Max, and Perez who have won those last 3 races. Okay, but Nico Rosberg in 2016, and Valtteri Bottas in 2019 in the Mercedes, both Mercedes drivers there have won from pole in Baku. So being on pole doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be winning this race, and that's kind of good. You know, it's a spicy race. For a street race as well, it's not as boring as a street race may sound. So that should be very, very interesting. Ferrari. What's it called? Ricciardo won with Red Bull from 10th position in 2017, and Perez has won from 6th position in 2021. Speaking of Perez, look, Sergio Perez, I want to talk about him very briefly. What a interesting season, let's say, that he's having. Not as crazy as it was last year, but it's almost like the spotlight is on Sergio Perez this season, because it's almost like, look, if he cannot do well here in Baku in his favored circuit, where else will he do well? You know, Sergio Perez is one of those. He's the only repeat winner in the 7 races. And, you know, it's one of those where he's got to show up this weekend. He's got a great record here. Even when he was in Force India, Racing Point, even when he was in that car, he had a good record here. So we have to wait and see if he can do that. You know, he finished on the podium, I think, 3rd for Force India in 2016 and 18, as well as winning the races in 21 and in 23. Remember the championship standings at this moment in time. Max Verstappen leads McLaren's Lando Norris by 62 points. Okay, by 62 points. And that's just after 16 races. Can you believe we're at race 17 in the Formula One calendar? It's crazy to think we are managing to do 17 races in a season. Unreal. I don't know how we've worked that one out, but it seems that we have. So, you know, it feels like a championship's already been and gone already. But yeah, 62 points. Max Verstappen leads Lando Norris. But also Red Bull are leading 8 points ahead of McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. And I'm here to give you some news flash, people. McLaren this weekend will take the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Hopefully you can see where I'm shaping these predictions to be. Max Verstappen, look, it's been a long time since Max Verstappen has actually won a race. I think he's been, 6 races now without a win? And that's his longest streak probably since 2020. You know, 6 races without a win. It's not been good. And the last pole position lap that he actually had was what, Austrian Grand Prix back in June? You know, we're in September. You know what I'm saying? What's going on there? But yeah, Red Bull as a whole haven't had a win in the last 6, and that's just been crazy. McLaren, they must take the lead this weekend. They've got the opportunity. It's right there in front of them. They must take the opportunity this weekend. And don't forget as well, Oliver Behrman, stands in again this season for the second time this season. Oliver Behrman will be in the Haas, in Magnussen's Haas, because Magnussen got 2 points in Monza, which meant that he had 12 points on his license, banned for a race. So yeah, Magnus is the first ever driver to be banned since Romain Grosjean in 2012. So that's like kind of a bit of a background as to what is happening in Baku, what's happened in the past in Baku, and where we currently are with the season. Smash a like if you feel like this season has been good, if you found it great, if you've enjoyed this season, and if you think there's still plenty more, because I feel like the season's not over yet. It's just not over. But I want to know your predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you comment down in the section below. So let's get to the first prediction. We're going to talk about pole position. Now, Charles Leclerc's had the last 3 seasons on pole. Even when Ferrari don't seem great, and Ferrari don't seem that great. But I can't lie, guys. I have a feeling Charles Leclerc will make it 4 years in a row. I'm putting Charles Leclerc in pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this weekend. I just have that feeling because he's very good at this track in terms of, and Ferrari are very good 1-lap pace. They're quite quick. They'll be pretty good. And I think Carlos Sainz will be on the second row of the grid. Maybe third or fourth. Carlos Sainz to be second row of the grid. The Ferraris are good over straight line speed. Obviously, there's a lot of straights in Baku. Street circuit suits Charles Leclerc very, very well. And, just like Monaco, it seems to suit the Ferrari pretty well. So that's my prediction for pole position. It will be Charles Leclerc. He'll make it 4 in 4. Will he convert it into a win? Let's have a look and see. We'll do the podium places first. And the answer is no. He will finish third at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc's finished P3 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix because, look, nobody's really won it since from pole since, the days of Nico Rosberg. You know what I'm saying? Or Bottas, rather, for 2019. And that's how long it's been. This circuit's not easy to kind of start and finish on pole. It's a wide track. It's a wide street circuit. Plenty of opportunity to overtake. And I don't think the Ferrari car has the package to do it all. I think Monza's a bit of a one-off. And Monaco. I think it's a bit of a one-off for Ferrari. I think they kind of target when Ferrari know that they're not going to win the championship, they kind of target a few races in the year. And I think Baku is up there. Monza was definitely up there with it alongside Monaco. Definitely Monza. P2, I'm going Piastri. Oscar Piastri. Listen, the McLaren car is looking great. It's looking great. The only probably the criticism that you can have over McLaren is simply for the fact of the strategy side of things. But I do think everybody's going a bit overboard with McLaren. I do think, maybe that's my McLaren bias. I don't know. But I think people are a bit over the top with McLaren. Because at the end of the day, they've been building and building and building on this car. And here this car is today. It's arrived today, okay? And it's going to take some time to really iron out all the cobwebs of what it was like winning races. McLaren haven't been winning races since Hamilton and Button were in the car. So we're talking like the 2012s, 2011, 10, that kind of era. When Vettel was cleaning up as well in the Red Bull. That's how long it's been. So, McLaren need a bit of grace, it must be said, in terms of, how they're going about their team orders, how they're going about who should be what. They never planned or never thought that they would be in this position to be winning the championship. Does it mean they should pivot now? I can understand the argument. If it's there for the taking, I still think Max is too far. 62 points now is too far, in my opinion, even though Red Bull are not having a great time. No wins in 6. But still need to lay off. Oscar Piastri P2. And you know what? My race winner. It's going to be a McLaren 1-2. And I think this is the weekend where they do shut the critics up. I think Lando Norris has got a point to prove. I think he's very much fuming after what took place in Monza. And I'm sure McLaren as a whole are fuming in terms of what happened in Monza. How Charles Leclerc won the Italian Grand Prix. They're probably still scratching their heads about because it was McLaren's to lose. And as much as Ferrari did gamble and go for the strategy that they thought, look, we've got nothing to lose here. If we go for the strategy and it fails, we finish P3, P4, or we can finish P1, P4. P1, P2 kind of thing, P3, and with Carlos Sainz, unfortunately, it didn't last all the way. So here's what I think in terms of the race winner. Lando Norris is going to be the man. McLaren are going to shut everybody up. McLaren are going to be the ones being the talk of the town at the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. Now, who am I excited to see? Who am I excited to watch this race weekend? And I must admit, I think Sergio Perez, I think Sergio Perez. I think there's something to look at in terms of how this is his circuit. He will know it well. And I have a funny feeling like he will finish ahead of Max this weekend. Max Verstappen Max Verstappen is no slouch at this race. Let's be very, very clear. He's won this race before, and he's looked incredibly good. I think there was one when he lost, and I think the tire just kind of blew out. Whether it was 2020, it might have been 2021 when the tire just kind of gave way on him. Or it might have even been 2020. No, well, did they have a race in 2020? I don't think they did. So it must have been 2021, where really and truly he was gone. He was flying, but the tire just absolutely gave up on him. All of a sudden, the degradation was way too much. You got that, that famous iconic image of him kicking his tire as he got out of the car. And I think it also happened to Lance Stroll afterwards as well. That's another person I want to keep my eye on. Lance Stroll. With the news surrounding Aston Martin, everything with Adrian Newey and so on and so forth, there's a bit of a buzz, there's a bit of a lift at Aston Martin. Obviously, Adrian has nothing to do with this car right now, nor the weekend. But Lance Stroll has actually liked this circuit too. He's had a few good, decent results here in the past. And also, I think even in the Williams, he was on the podium. You know what I mean? So, Baku's one of those kind of circuits for certain drivers where, we can make it work. We can make it work. It's that kind of circuit. Lance Stroll, I'll keep an eye on. Sergio Perez, definitely, I've got my eye on him as well for this race weekend. The ones that I'm worried about, who am I worried about this weekend? It's a weird one because Mercedes ain't really saying much. And don't get me wrong, this is the thing with Mercedes, they're just one hard team to predict. They're hard to predict because you sort of look at them and you think, okay, well, they need to get their act together. Then they do. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I find incredibly crazy how one weekend, they went, just remember before the summer break, they had 3 wins on the bounce. They were almost like riding high. And George Russell did mention look, sometimes, the small margins make all the big difference. And, we have to wait and see how they are. But there's a bit of concern about Mercedes. There's a bit of a concern there regarding them. So I am a bit concerned for them this weekend. And also, Red Bull is also, it's funny because I'm excited to see what Perez does. But then Red Bull could lose the Constructors' title this weekend. Do you know what I mean? They could actually lose the title this weekend. Alpine don't fill me with any grace. They don't fill me with anything, and besides that, that's kind of where I look at the rest of the teams. Sauber, I'm so past the point of caring about what they're doing and what's happening over there to even care or even think about it. But yeah, those are the predictions. Your race winner will be Lando Norris, okay? On the podium will be Oscar Piastri. It'll be a McLaren 1-2 this race weekend. Leclerc will round up the podium as he did last year, P3. The ones that you should watch out for, keep an eye on Lance Stroll. Keep an eye on Sergio Perez as this is his circuit. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What are your predictions for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this weekend? Let's have a topic. Let's discuss. Let's have a debate. Until I'll see you after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We can chop it up and discuss what took place, what unfolded. Until next time, though, people, lights out. Peace.